What is up, everybody? Back with another top 10 list here today, and it's going to be my 10 favorite albums from 1997. Been a while since I've done one of these. I did all the years of the 80s. I've done like 6 so far in the 90s. Did 1975. Eventually, I want to have every year since probably like 1970 done. But today it's 1997, and some of you might be saying, 97, metal wasn't too big or good at the time, but I've got 10 really good albums here that I think y'all are going to like. Good mix of some pretty extreme stuff as well as some classic bands that were still putting out quality material at the time. Just my opinion as usual. Here we go. Starting off the list at number 10 is Of Great Eternity by the band Judas Iscariot, a one-man black metal band from the United States. All instruments and vocals done by a dude who goes by the name of Hecate or something like that. Probably mispronounced it, but really cool stuff here. Production, very raw sounds, kind of similar to early 90s Dark Throne, Burzum, that type of thing. The guitar playing's great. Nice melodies and riffs on this. Very mesmerizing, hypnotic stuff. He gets a riff, a melody, just keeps it going for a while. Very repetitive, but really good stuff with that. Looking at these songs, there's 6 of them. My favorites, I'd probably say, are the second track, I Filled with Woes, The Passing Wind, which is just guitar, but it's an amazing riff, great melody, and just keeps on going. 6 minutes long, and there's like a little bit of a growl in it, but very epic stuff. There's some overlapping guitar, like riffs in the background of the main melody, which is just really cool. If you're not a fan of the like really raw, like drum and production sound, or the vocals, just listen to this song especially. You'll think it's badass. But probably Then Mourns the Wanderer, another favorite. And the final song, Our Sons Shall Rule the Empire of the Sea. Long song titles here, but a really good band. Good album here, Of Great Eternity, Judas Iscariot, number 10. Next up at number 9 is the debut album from Swedish black metal band Sorhin. I'll attempt to pronounce it, but I'll probably butcher it because it's in Swedish. Glimrande, Mörkrets, Djup. Yeah, good album here. They formed back in 1993, and they've released some demos and an EP and whatnot before this debut album came out in 97. Obvious Dissection influence. If you like those first 2 Dissection albums, you'll probably like this. Not quite as good, but still very solid melodic black metal. Kind of a dark, ominous atmosphere and feel to it. You can see that with the album cover. You get that kind of feel from that. But looking at these songs, again, they're all in Swedish, but some of the standout tracks, I'd say, are the first song, the second song, and the 9th track. But yeah, good solid stuff here from top to bottom for the most part. 10 songs, melodic black metal, Sorhin, number 9. Coming in at number 8 is Unchain the Wolves by Destroyer 666. Really cool black and thrash metal band from Australia. This album cover, first off, is freaking awesome. I've always thought it looked really cool. Got this huge badass looking wolf there on the front. Thing's an absolute tank. The font is really cool looking as well. That says Destroyer 666. Just always love this album cover. The album itself, really good as well. A nice blend of black and thrash metal. Some more melodic type spots on the album, as well as the thrashy, hard-hitting stuff. The tone and guitar playing is amazing from KK Warslut, who is the founding member, band leader, guitarist, singer. Like his voice as well for this. And the lead guitar player, who goes by the name Shrapnel, played for them, like I think from 96 to 2012. But as far as the track listing goes, there's 8 songs. Genesis to Genocide, the opener's fantastic. Nice slow little build-up intro there, which sounds kind of ominous and scary, into just a really nice mid-paced melodic song. Great riffing and melody throughout. You got Australian and Antichrist, the second song, one of the more thrashy moments on the album, which is fantastic. Really good hard-hitting song. Satan's Hammer is another great one. Title track, really top to bottom. Great album here. Possibly my favorite by the band. I did actually see them in concert, I think early 2018, so I've been into them for quite a while. Unchain the Wolves, number 8. Next up at number 7 is From the Underground and Below by Overkill. Awesome stuff here. Yeah, it's not quite as thrashy as some of their previous material, but still really freaking heavy. A lot of great riffs all over the album. Production's great. The drumming's really good. Looking at these songs, you got It Lives, Save Me, Long Time Dying, Genesia, Half Past Dead. Some of the standouts, of course, Bobby Blitz and Dee Dee Verney are there. Bobby on the vocals sounds really good as usual, I think. Dee Dee Verney's bass playing's great. Guitar playing was done by Joe Cumiu and a guy named Sebastian Marino. They were on a couple of Overkill albums there in the mid-90s, but Joe actually sang for Liege Lord. He's a great singer. Sang for Liege Lord in the late 80s. I think he's part of their lineup right now, and he was also the singer for Annihilator in the early 2000s on a couple of really good albums that I like a lot. But overall, this is quite a solid album from the underground and below. Overkill, number 7. Coming in at number 6 is Jugulator by Judas Priest. Killer stuff here. Very heavy album. A lot of great riffs, of course. It's the first one without Rob Halford, but I think Tim Ripper Owens does a great job on this album. Other than that, the lineup's the same as it was on Painkiller. You got Ian Hill on bass, Scott Travis on drums, and Glenn and KK on guitar. Looking at these tracks, there's a lot of strong ones. Bloodstained is great. Death Row is really fantastic. Burn in Hell's awesome. And Bullet Train are the standouts, but a lot of good stuff here. Highly recommend if you kind of blew it off, didn't really give it a chance in the past. Definitely go back and listen to it. Jugulator, number 6. Next up at number 5 is Under Moonlight We Kiss by the band Ancient Ceremony. A lot of cool stuff going on with this album. It blends several different styles. Melodic black metal with a lot of gothic and symphonic elements. The keyboards sound amazing on it. The guitar playing is great. The tone's awesome. A lot of great melodies and riffs. You know, the vocals, there is the typical like harsh vocals you hear in black metal a lot of times from a guy, and also some clean vocals from a girl that sound really good as well, just mixed in together. Just overall, very cool and unique album here. Looking at the track listing, there's 12 songs. Standouts, I would say, are For Ebony Slumber, Shadows of the Undead, and probably Angel's Bloody Tears. But top to bottom, this one is a really, honestly, a gem that I found kind of randomly a couple months back. Been enjoying it since. Great stuff. Under Moonlight We Kiss, Ancient Ceremony, number 5. Next up at number 4 is The Slaughter of Innocence, a Requiem for the Mighty by the band Hecate, or Hecate, Enthroned, however that's pronounced. But really cool stuff here. If you're a fan of mid to late 90s Cradle of Filth, Cruelty and the Beast, and Dusk and Her Embrace, you should like this album a lot. Pretty much the exact same style and sound as those albums. Even the vocals sound almost identical to Danny Filth. I've seen some people criticize it for that, say they're like a copycat band, but personally, it doesn't really bother me too much. I love that style, so I like this album a lot. And looking at the track listing, some standouts I would say are Beneath the December Twilight, The Spell of the Winter Forest, and probably Within the Ruins of Eden. But top to bottom, really good, consistent album here. Great musicianship, just overall, really, really cool stuff that I recommend you check out. The Slaughter of Innocence, a Requiem for the Mighty, Hecate Enthroned, number 4. Next up at number 3 is Enter the Moonlight Gate by Lord Belial. Killer stuff here, Swedish black metal. One of my favorite black metal bands of all time, and this is probably their best album. Some of the most evil and darkest atmosphere you will ever hear on an album, in my opinion. Looking at the songs, there's 8 of them. Some of the standout tracks, I'd say, are the title track, Unholy Spell of Lilith, and probably Belial, Northern Prince of Evil. But top to bottom, very consistent, great album here. Even there's an acoustic song on here, just guitar, that is a really beautiful little piece that doesn't really fit in with the rest of the album, but nice little change of pace there towards the end. And, you know, just overall, the riffs on this are amazing. The melodies are great. There's some nice soloing throughout. The vocals are harsh and evil and freaking awesome. But, yeah, really good album here. Enter the Moonlight Gate, number 3. Next up at number 2 is Cryptic Writings by Megadeth. Awesome stuff here. Of course, Megadeth's my favorite band of all time, and if you've seen my videos in the past, you're probably expecting this to be number 1, but there's something I think deserves it just a little bit more. I'll get to that in a minute, but really strong track listing on this. You know, of course, it's not as heavy and thrashy as a lot of the previous material, but I think it's still a very good, solid album. Trust to Open It Up's a really good song. There's an awesome solo in that one from Marty Friedman. Really good melodic stuff. Almost Honest, it's a little bit more of a commercial song, but I still like it. Use the Man, really good one. It's got some acoustic guitar from Dave. Mastermind's a really great, underrated one. The Disintegrators, that's probably a top 20 Megadeth song. It's freaking awesome. She-Wolf, of course, the heaviest, thrashiest song on this album, and just the riff's amazing. The guitar solo and dual melodic harmonization with the guitar towards the end is amazing. Very Iron Maiden-esque type stuff. Looking at the rest, what else we got here? Secret Place is a really good, cool song. I'll Get Even I like a lot. Vortex, really great riff to open up that song. And Have Cool Will Travel, I think is a really good, underrated song. FFF, Fight for Freedom, another one that's great. Of course, this is the last album with the classic lineup, the most beloved lineup by most people, including myself. Marty Friedman on lead guitar, Nick Menza on drums, who, I mean, the next album had 3/4 of this lineup, just Nick Menza got kicked out or whatever happened. Dave Mustaine, vocals and guitar. David Ellefson on bass, of course. But really, really good album that I like a lot. Cryptic Writings, Megadeth, my number 2 of 1997. And some honorable mentions here real quick before I get to number 1. We got Anthems to the Welkin at Dusk by Emperor. Quest for Metal. Questy over there is going to hate me for not including this one, but I don't love this album quite as much as him and a lot of other people do. Still quite good, though. Eld by Enslaved, another really good one that was close to making it. Something Wild by Children of Bodom. KFD by Wasp, I think, is obviously their most different sounding album, and a lot of people hate it, but I actually like it quite a bit, even though it's probably down near the bottom for my favorite Wasp albums, but still pretty good. Pagan Prosperity by Old Man's Child, and Blood Sabbath by Belphegor are some honorable mentions I wanted to run through real quick, but yeah, on to my number 1. And taking the number 1 spot is Unleash the Beast by Saxon. Amazing album from an amazing band. The 10-year stretch they went on at this point, starting with this album up through the Inner Sanctum in 2007, was ridiculously good. A lot of awesome, heavy stuff on all those albums. The guitar playing is amazing. Great riffs and solos all over this album specifically. The melodies are great. The vocals from Biff Byford. He's always been a guy who I think had a really good voice. Obviously not the greatest range ever, but pretty good distinctive voice and a lot of good vocal melodies from him, I think. The lineup that they had on this album is the current lineup they have now. I did see them a couple of years ago. I think it was early 2018 when I saw them, but of course Biff, Paul Quinn on guitar, who has been there since the beginning. Doug Scarrett also on guitar. Nibs Carter on the bass. And Nigel Glockler on the drums. The track listing, extremely strong. Looking at these, you got the title track, which is fantastic. What else we got? The Thin Red Line's another favorite. Blood Letter, gotta say, one of my all-time favorite Saxon songs. That riff is freaking fantastic. The tone is amazing. The melody throughout the song is amazing. The chorus is great. Everything about it is freaking awesome. But besides that, Cut Out the Disease is fantastic. The final song, All Hell Breaking Loose, not All Hell's Breaking Loose, All Hell Breaking Loose is great as well. Just top to bottom, all 11 songs for the most part are fantastic. This is a really good album that I think deserves the number 1 spot, so I had to go with it. Unleash the Beast by Saxon, my number 1 album of 1997, and that wraps up the list. As usual, I want to know what you guys thought. Give me your lists in the comments, and until next time, thank you for watching.